It is the largest and longest running professionals-only gaming event in the world, GDC, the Game Developers Conference, and Mark New has been at the event. He is not playing around. He joined us live from San Francisco to shed light on some of the games there with some truly unique features. Mark, how big is this event?
It is a huge event. As you said, it's the biggest for professionals-only gaming event in the industry. And while there's no official count yet, the Game Developers Conference, or GDC, is expected to draw in around 25,000 game professionals to San Francisco this week. Developers play a huge role, for they are the backbone of what makes this industry tick. But what's the best way to stand out in a really crowded crowd? Some believe the solution is to draw upon the developers' very own life experience. The big boys are here showing off their gaming wares, everything from Xbox to PlayStation. But growing in importance are also the independent developers and startup game companies who bring creativity and passion. Harbin, China-born Yang Zhenghua was 18 when he was bleeding non-stop and diagnosed with a rare disease called chronic refractory ITP.
My doctor at the time actually told me I only had a few hours to live, and it was super sudden for me. Luckily, I survived that night, miraculously. And since then, I was hospitalized for 2 more years. During that time, I realized just how life is so precious and how easy it is for it to slip away from you. And I wanted to turn my passion in video games into something more meaningful.
Young founded Serenity Forge, which created the free game Loving Life, more like a visual novel based on his near-death experience. At GDC, Serenity Forge is also showing off its new game, The King's Bird, about escaping oppression. It's also created Luna's Wandering Stars, about the beauty of the universe, and Pixel Galaxy, a game where you win by turning enemies into friends.
We're so tired of looking at, training kids how to shoot people on the TV, or, knocking over bricks on your phone for, 2 hours a day. But we feel like video games could do so much more. And we wanted to create experiences that kind of enhance and improve people's lives.
GDC even has this special program, the Independent Games Festival, which seeks to encourage outside-the-box thinking and innovation in game development. It's gaining a reputation as the Sundance or even the Oscars of the gaming world. And the winner for IGF's Best Student Game went to Goodbye World Games for Close Your. The game utilizes a player's blinking to relive moments of the character's life, while actually drawing upon the experiences of real stroke victims.
Video games are art. I remind everyone of that whenever we're making games. They're like, oh, I don't do this coding, I don't do this. I'm like, no, you're doing art. Like, we're doing art here. And that's absolutely our focus, is personal expression and making what feels right.
Both Goodbye Games and Serenity Forge say they didn't create their products to make money, but rather to give gamers a different perspective on life. And to give you an idea how much video games are becoming an art, the founder of Goodbye World Games says Close Your was influenced by Arthur Miller's famous play Death of a Salesman. So much for coders and gamers not being artistic. And good news for Goodbye World Games in that by qualifying for IGF, their game gets published on Steam, which is an increasingly popular internet-based digital distribution platform developed by Valve Corporation. And also Serenity Forge's Pixel Galaxy will soon be available on Microsoft's Xbox One. So an amazing story there. And that the founder Young says without that near-death experience, he wouldn't be where he is today, a proud founder of a company on a mission to make positive games. Michelle.
Mark, games inspired by a death of a salesman, shooting targets and making them into friends. It looks like social issues are really becoming a bigger part of this conference, and especially with more women entering the gaming world. And apparently, it's not a female-friendly zone. They're facing quite a bit of resentment in the gaming world. So how is GDC tackling this issue in particular?
Well, one of the biggest and most controversial topics has been something now labeled Gamergate. Last year, several female game developers were subject to insults, sexist comments, threats of physical harm, and even having their personal information put online, which is now referred to as doxing. The topic made its way into the Independent Games Festival Awards show last night when the head of Capybara Games denounced internet hatred. He received a standing ovation. A day before that, some of those female victims appeared at a panel discussion. They talked about the harassment they experienced, but also offered advice such as how to delete old accounts that have your personal info and how to remove yourself from third-party information brokers. In the end, their message was essentially that games are awesome, so let's stop letting jerks hijack them. Michelle.
Ah, good advice in any sector. All right, thank you so much. Good to see you, Mark New, live for us in San Francisco.